Before of assigning of the load, you should understand that what does mean by this load pattern. So some part of this load pattern we have covered in the last in the sample project. So like again I am going to discuss this point here. So load patterns, so this is what the list of the loads, to which your structure will be subjected. What are the different loads you are planning to assign to your structure, that you need to define here first. So what are the different loads to which your structure may be subjected? So dead load, obviously, if you are going to build any structure, it will have its self weight. It will have its own weight. It will have its own like own mass. So that we are going to call it as dead load. So software will automatically calculate the self weight of the structure, set weight of the element. If you are going to model the beam, so software will automatically calculate the self weight of that beam. If you are going to model the column, software will capable of doing the calculation of the self weight of the column, slab, whatever the element you are going to put here in model. Software will automatically do the calculation for the self weight of that particular element, so you don't need to bother about that. So here, that's why for the dead load pattern, the self weight multiplier will always be 1. And by default, in every project, if you are going to start any project, so there will be the presence of this dead load every time. Remember this thing. Second, live load will be there. So as I told you in the last session, in the sample project also, if you are going to build any structure, obviously there will be means for some purpose, for some like motive, you are going to build that structure. You will access to you are going to access that structure. So we are ourselves as considering as live load. We are going to live in that structure, so that we are going to call it as live load. So these two load patterns will be by default in your any project, in your any ETABS model by default. Second will be what there are some other loads will be there. That is what earthquake loading, that is what wind loading and snow loading, construction loading, fire loading, blast loading, machinery loading. So there are different types of the load patterns maybe. So whatever the loads you are planning to assign to your structure, you have to create the list of that load here first. Then only you have to proceed for the assignment of the load to the particular element, particular floor, and particular whatever the elements are there, or you are planning to assign the load to that. You have to think about after the modeling of, after defining of the load pattern list. Is that all clear? So in this project, we are going to assign the load to the your structure only the gravitational load. What? We are going to assign this load to your structure only the gravitational load, and lateral load will cover in a high-rise structure. Okay. So here only we are going to consider the gravitational load. What does mean by this gravitational load? The load that is going to be directed in the gravitational direction, we are going to call it as the gravitational load. And you know very well, the gravitational direction is what? Top to down or down to top. What is? Hello. Top to down, obviously. So gravitational load means so dead load is going to be directed down. Your live load, it is going to be directed down. Any other load if you are going to put here, that is going to be directed down. So that is I'm going to call it as what? Gravitational loading. So dead load, live load, we are going to consider gravitation. If you are considering the earthquake loading, so the earthquake loading will be in this direction. If you are considering the wind loading, that will be in this direction. So earthquake loading, wind loading, we are going to call it as what? That is a lateral loading. Got it? So in this project, we are not going to take the lateral loading. First, we will understand the gravitational loading. Then in high-rise structure, there will be the major discussion for the lateral loading only. Okay. So step by step, we will proceed to understand everything, right? So clear this all, and dead load, live load. But one more load pattern here I would like to add as a SIDL. Can anyone tell me what is the full form of this SIDL?
Superimposed dead load.
Superimpose live dead load.
So try to understand what does mean by this superimposed dead load.
Welcome you all in ISO certified live training program ETABS, RCDC and Excel that makes you a professional structural engineer. In this training program you will learn everything about ETABS and RCDC from basic to advanced, real life project of medium rise structure from architecture plan to final design sheet, real life project of high rise structure with all advanced topics, design of structural elements using advanced Excel sheets. Have a look over the features of this training. Daily live classes conducted by expert for 1.5 hours. Recording of every session with lifetime access. Can interact with expert anytime 24/7. Exposure to real practice. ISO certification of training completion. It's 5-star rated training program. Till now more than 1,000 participants have benefited from this training program. Now you are the next.